Hi everyone. Hello, it is Tuesday again. They come around so quick, don't they? I'm just getting my notes ready. There we go. Let's see, is Facebook setting it up all right? Yes, it is. Awesome, I can see comments as well, which is the main thing, of course. Just let me get that there. All right, cool. Make sure I can see myself. All right. So yes, it's Tuesday, and I'm in Queensland, as most of you know, and we are the calm before the storm. There's supposed to be a cyclone coming and hitting us in 2 days on Thursday. So it's only going to be a Category 2, maybe a 1. Fingers crossed. But I'm at my mum and dad's house at the moment in Brisbane, and they're in Caboolture, which is pretty much where the indications are that the eye of the cyclone is going to come through here. So I've just been sort of helping them try and get prepared for that. But I'm heading back to the farm, and for anyone who has been asking and have been concerned, because they know 2 years ago I lost all my sheep and some cattle in flooding caused from a cyclone, but the farm is safe. We're higher than where the cyclone is hitting. So as most people know, when a cyclone hits, it's everyone south that is going to cop all the flooding. So yeah, thank God I'm further north with the farm, so all the animals are nice and safe. So if you're watching, let me know that you can hear me okay, because I'm just on my laptop. Oh, hi Holly, awesome. So yeah, so that's sort of the update with the farm. It's all good. I'm heading back there today. And then I'm supposed to be flying out of Brisbane on Saturday to go to Tassie, but we'll see how that goes. I'll have to make alternate arrangements and fly out from a different airport, but I will get there. So, all right. But yes, calm before the storm. It's not even breezy here today, but I think it's going to start ramping up tomorrow. But yes, all right, great. So today I wanted to chat about, as you all know as well, I have been traveling. I am back now, but I thought a good chat would be sort of exploring art that is inspired by your travels and maybe memories. Oh, Holly, you had to cancel your holiday to the coast, yeah. You'd be good where you are, I think. You're nice and high and you're inland. So I don't think, I know around Tenterfield and that's supposed to be getting a lot of rain, but they don't flood. When you're up high, you're pretty good. Yeah, it's a shame. I think everyone's having to cancel things at the moment. I'd imagine most shops and that around this area will be closed on Thursday and Friday. And yeah, my biggest worry is coming all the way back down here on Saturday. So hopefully the flooding's not too bad. All right, and the wind destruction and the power out and trees down, all of that. So we'll see. We don't get cyclones this far south very often, so hopefully it peters out and becomes nothing. So, all right, morning Deb as well. Okay, so I thought, we could chat about either your memories, your travels, just your place where you live, gathering information and inspiration to create paintings from that are uniquely yours. Okay, I'm outside too, by the way, so I'll talk loud, okay, to make sure, because there's like magpies and birds and everything. The wind is blowing a little bit. There's reverse beeping of cars, so it is quite noisy here, but everyone always says they can't usually hear my background noise, so hopefully that's the case. Hi Jane as well. Okay, so like travel and personal memories, of course, can be a huge source of inspiration or artistic inspiration. So whether it's a breathtaking landscape or a unique wildlife encounter, or just emotions tied to a special place for you. So your experiences shape the way you create, of course. And this is, again, I'm talking, like I say a lot to my members in the Creative Barn, as an art teacher, I'm teaching you all the techniques to create the art you want to create in the style you want. So I teach realism. So, but I also encourage all my members, once they're feeling confident with that, to start, expanding and thinking about art that they want to create that is more them, rather than just learning from me. I like them to branch out as they get better and better. But to start with, it's great to to learn from others, of course. But this is something you could do at any stage of your art, your art career, I suppose. But yeah, this is sort of starting to think about your story, I suppose, and how you want your art to come across and what you want to tell. Story always sells your art. That's if you want to sell it. Story is also good if you want to hand that down to your kids and grandkids to look back on, knowing there is that story of your place and your sort of life. So yeah, art can really be important in that way. And I know we look back on old masters and that, and we love being able to see the story in their work as well. So today I thought we would talk about how travel and memories influence your creativity, how to capture inspiration in the moment, turning those experiences into your artwork, and then the emotional connection between art and memories. Okay, so I'll let you think on this, and of course you can put answers in the comments if you want. So have you ever created art based on a place where you've travelled, or a memory that means something special to you? Okay, so think about that. Like for me, I knew I wanted, I love the beach, and I love Fraser Island, or Gari as it's now called. Grew up going there quite a number of times, and all in that area, camping on the beach. So I knew I wanted to do an exhibition featuring sort of elements of the island, and mainly the dingoes. As everyone knows, I kind of like dingoes. I like painting dingoes. So I've been there, many times, and loved it. And I knew I wanted to do this exhibition, so we went on a sort of a 3-day camping trip specifically to gather information and ideas for my exhibition. So my husband just went off fishing, and I went there. See, normally when you're sort of on a holiday or traveling, you're sort of there and you're just relaxing. But to go to a place on the purpose of your art and coming up with ideas, it's sort of a different experience. So I got so much inspiration. I think I could do 100 exhibitions and on different elements. Like I was sort of, once I got there, because I know Fraser Island, and I thought, oh yeah, the Mahino wreck and the dingoes and all of the, like some of those, like Central Station and that. But once I got there, everywhere I looked, there was inspiration. So I just gathered so much in the way of photos and everything. So, and also when I'm taking photos, I'm looking at compositions through the lens as well. And I'm always thinking, it's not like just a happy holiday snap. As an artist, I think we take photos with a painting in mind, and look at how that would work as a painting as you're taking a photo as well. So I found the Mahino wreck actually really inspiring. Just the colours as well, the rich reds and coppers of the rust, and then there was really bright green algae and sort of seaweed against that red. And we know, like, they're complementary colours, like they're opposite on the colour wheel. So yeah, they work so well together. And I also gathered some sort of sketched some leaf shapes and vines, things like that. Just all different elements of the island. So, but at that time, I was looking at the big picture, trying to come up with ideas for a whole exhibition. Now I need to go back and start honing in and looking at the smaller things. So I'll go through that a bit later on what I'm talking about here. But so the first trip was all about just, coming up with the ideas, doing some sketching. I did some pastel just on plein air of the ocean. Just things like that, just starting to come up with what I'm going to do, what's going to be featured in the exhibition. Like I said, I ended up with that many things that I have to try and really hone that down to about 20 paintings. And but I now need to go back and sort of do a bit of foraging and look at the smaller things. So that's sort of the next step for me. So that even though I've just travelled all around a fair bit, like South Australia and Victoria and that, still Fraser Island is my go-to happy place, and that sort of, yeah. But I came up with lots of ideas with other things as well. What's Vivian got? I'm keen to create work of your garden and your natural environment where you live. Yeah, your sense of place, Vivian, would be amazing. I was thinking of you when I was writing this, that I thought Vivian's garden, you would have just endless supply of ideas. So, and also the beach is my happy place. So think of where your happy place is. It's always brought me joy, and every time I go to a beach, I just get a sense of just being at one with nature, and I always feel relaxed when I'm at the beach. I don't know what it is. It's my place. And I think if you have a place like that, then it's like brings out those emotions of your favourite surroundings, and that will help influence the way you see and create your art. So it could just be your garden. It could be your grandparents' place. It could be your local botanic gardens, or even your park. I'm keen to have a forage around my farm because there's just an endless supply of stuff there as well. I took photos of these actually when we were along the Great Ocean Road looking at the 12 Apostles and all the most amazing scenery there. And we're walking the tracks, and my husband had to keep stopping because I was forever taking photos of the posts, at the fence posts. They had the most amazing like yellow algae type of things on these old fence posts, and just the way these, I don't think they were weeds, I think they were a native plant down there, were against these fence posts. So I kept taking photos of the fence posts instead of the 12 Apostles. But I don't know whether people look and think, what is she taking a photo of? Or whether if it's another artist, they would understand. But it's things like that grab our attention. Like I've said before, when you learn to see like an artist, you're looking at the details and the finer things. What's Leslie got? Not yet, but have a couple of photos from our world circumnavigation cruise in 2014's. The photos you'd like to paint are from our Australian excursions. Yeah, the colours are amazing in Australia, aren't they? Oh, lichen, there we go. That's probably it, Viv. They were just really cool. So, yeah. All right, so whether, it's a far away adventure or a cherished childhood memory, then those experiences shape your artistic style, of course, and your subjects. So travel inspires your art by giving you new perspectives. So seeing different landscapes, cultures, and colours, of course, expands how we think about art. So, like just driving around like this country, I was constantly taking photos and writing down painting ideas. So, of course, for those that are Australian, know how big this country is, and there's a lot of very long, boring roads. especially as you start to get out west. Along the east coast, of course, there's a lot to see and do, but as you start getting further west, there's few and far between. So it's in those quiet times that you need, as a creative, you need to give your brain time to rest and open space to let those ideas come in. So I always find when we're in the car, even when I'm driving, that's when I do a lot of my thinking of what I want to paint and stuff, and coming up with ideas. So I was, like I said, we're like doing 100 and I'm trying to take photos of things. I'll go, oh wow, look at that, and try and get a photo just to, even though it's blurry and that, but it's something that it'll jog my memory. And then I usually write a note on my phone just to remind myself. Like we went flying past, it was near Glen Innes, I think. And there's Viv, you might know that it's called the Balancing Rock. And there was just a sign, Balancing Rock, with an arrow. And it's like, it was in someone's farm in their paddock. And it's literally this huge rock, and it looks like it's balancing on top of another rock by this tiny bit. But as we zoom past, I couldn't get a photo, but I wrote it down. There was some black and white cattle sort of, grazing away in front of it with this amazing rock in the background. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, that'd make a beautiful painting. So I quickly jotted down. But I can now, because it's like a bit of a tourist attraction, I can search the Balancing Rock and probably find some photos on the internet that'll really help with that memory, and then place cattle in front of it just to try and recreate that myself. Or I could drive back down there, but it is quite away from here. So, Di, you have some great sunsets from a few places, no attempts yet. I think pastels, Di, would be beautiful to do sunsets in, just the blending capability. So, oh, Jennifer, you love my backdrop. Let me tell you something. My parents are hoarders, I would say. So this is outside. Of course, there's cabinets and stuff everywhere. Because, of course, when they moved from a bigger house to a smaller house, they couldn't throw anything away. So, yeah, there's stuff. There's a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, it's always feels fairly cozy and homely. Like, I always feel my house is quite barren. Not barren, but I don't know, sometimes I feel like, people who have a lot of knickknacks, their houses always feel more like a home. I feel you can really see the personality of the people that live in it when they have a lot of stuff. They're not hoarders in the way of like you see on TV where they just have rubbish and stuff. They just collect a lot of stuff. Like Dad he collects key rings and miniature cars and shells, which is amazing because I ferreted through his stuff earlier to share with you guys. So, yeah, he just likes to collect a lot of things. So they have a lot of cabinets with shelves and things in it. Oh, Monday sunsets were beautiful, I bet. So seeing, did I just say that one? Yes. So, yeah, of course, unique textures and details. So, just the rough bark on an outback tree to the smooth surface of a pebble on a beach. So textures can be captured in your art. And I always say texture is the second most important element next to value, I think, especially if you want to do realism. But even texture, even in abstract paintings, texture really plays an important role in capturing sort of a feeling as well. So texture is really important. So animals and wildlife, so observing nature on your travels gives you a new appreciation for movement and behaviour and light in different environments. So everyone knows I like my animals and I like my sheep. But after driving through South Australia, this was another painting series I thought of. I'd like to create a series about not enough trees I'm going to call it that too, not enough trees. So just the series will be about farm animals all fighting for the slither of shade that a fence post and a bit of wire is throwing on a paddock. Like literally 30, 40 sheep are all jammed against a fence under next to each post because there's just this little slither of shade trying to get in what there is of shade. There's no trees there. And then occasionally there's one tree and you've got like 50 cattle or 50 sheep all jammed trying to get under that little bit of shade. You know, animals like shade just as much as we do. If we're out in a park, you just look, if you're in a park or somewhere or at a beach, everyone's under shade, aren't they? So animals like it too. And it just blew my mind that I know like there could be water problems, drought, all the rest of it, but it's such a barren landscape, and I just felt for the animals. So that's like, as again, I was thinking, God. So I took lots of photos of sheep and cattle all jammed under trees or next to, like, there might be a sign post, a big sign, you know, a billboard. So they're all underneath where the shadow is on that. And yeah, I was just like, you know, plant some trees, guys, come on. Oh yeah, Louisa, yeah, you're in that sort of, oh, I don't think it was quite as bad where you were, but yeah, they really, I know they're cropping paddocks, but like you could at least leave more trees around the edges. Or I saw some which were good, and they just had like in the middle of the paddocks, they would have like we call it a cattle camp up here. So like a strip of like trees that the animals can get under. So yeah, even solar panels would create shade. Exactly. So anyway, but yeah, but again, it's an idea that I was thinking. I think I'd like to do something about that, and that is more to, you know, raise a bit of awareness to these poor creatures. So and then of course there's cultural influences, so local art, traditional designs, regional colour palettes can bring fresh inspiration, especially as you get out west. The colours out there, those reds are amazing. Yeah, 10 degrees for cool. Yeah, definitely. Trees make everything cooler. The kangaroos are the same, probably. Yeah, anyway. All right, so that's more about travel, and then memories can influence your art by the emotional connection. So art is more powerful when there's feeling and meaning behind it. And we all know this as artists, especially if you've started creating more and started putting stuff in exhibitions and seeing what sells. 9 times out of 10, it's the paintings with the emotion and story and feeling behind it, and that's usually what sells. So at our last exhibition, this was just a really good example of this. We had the opening on Friday night, and Jodie, one of the amazing artists, had just some beautiful paintings there. And I was talking to one lady, and she'd just bought, her husband had bought, he loves frogs, so he bought a frog pastel painting off Marianne, who's in the membership. And I was talking to her, and she kept saying, I just love this painting over there. And it was one of Jodie's. And hers, there's elements of realism in there, but there's a lot of abstract in there too. And just beautiful. Her colour palette was amazing. But it was just a dresser, like a set of drawers, like a dresser drawer. And that's what the lady kept going back to it, because it was reminding her of her childhood. So she obviously had a dresser very similar as a child. And by the end of the night, she ended up buying it because she just couldn't stop looking at it, and it just kept bringing these emotions up for her. And I talked to Jodie later, and she said that's exactly why she painted that. She thought it might, bring up some memories for people, which, yeah, it did. So, and she sold. So, Yeah, so it's amazing how those memories really can, your art can really strike up some memories for people. So nostalgia and storytelling, so looking back on your own past experiences can help you create a mood, a moment, or a feeling in your work. And symbolism, so certain colours, compositions, or subjects can represent emotions or memories. I know Michael Freeman, which if you follow me, you know I talk about the Freemans a fair bit because I just love their work. He does those, maybe it was bigger in New Zealand, but it's like he always does this kind of, they're always in like a box, and they're like a red and black bug thing that has a rope, and you pull them along, as I think as kids back in like the day. They were a common wooden toy, and he always has those featured, and then he has different things, all these little items. And when you actually go onto his site and talk to him, or his Facebook page, he'll explain what they all have meanings to him, and a lot refer back to his sort of childhood and stuff. Then sometimes he'll throw a bit of a political thing in there, like he did one that had a roll of toilet paper, and that was around COVID when everyone bought all the toilet paper. So his painting had a roll of toilet paper. Yeah, but that's a great example of memories and bringing emotion, and they're memories for him, but they also would be memories for a lot of other people, similar, not quite the same memories, but the items could be very similar to other people, and that those people that it strikes a chord with are the ones that are going to buy that painting. So sheep are their own worst enemies. They destroy the landscape. Definitely need solar panels for sheep shade. Yeah, well these these were cropping paddocks, and they put the sheep in there. Once they've cut the I don't know, is it sorghum maybe? I don't know what they were cropping. They'd throw the sheep in there probably for a week to go around and get rid of all the leftovers. But it's like, put some shade in there for them at least. So anyway, we'll get off the sheep. All right, here's the question. What's one place or memory that has inspired your art before? You may not have yet. If you're just beginning, you may not have gone that far. You might still be learning. But if you've been drawing for a little while, painting, do you have a place or a memory that's inspired your art? Okay, so let me know in the comments. All right, capturing inspiration in the moment. It's hard, like I said, when you're doing 100 down the highway. I'd quickly get a photo and zoom as it goes fast. You know what I was doing actually? My phone has, I think all phones have it, the slow motion video. So I was videoing a lot of slow motion because we were going past so fast, and that way when I played it back, it was in really slow motion, so I could stop it and screenshot. And they're not the greatest photos, they're blurry, but it's enough to trigger that why I took the photo. That was how I was doing a lot of and then I'd write a note to myself. So I didn't just have random photos, I'd have a note. And you can now, I was writing notes in my notebook thing, but now I always forget, if you swipe up or down on your photo, there's a section for notes, and you can actually write a note that goes with that photo. So that would be way smarter, but I always forget these things. So maybe next time I'll remember. So when you're traveling or experiencing something meaningful, how do you capture it for later? So like I said, that's sort of how I was. Quick sketches and travel journals. So even a simple line drawing or thumbnail sketch can help you remember the details for later. So also, as some of you know, I set off with great intentions of drawing a sketch every day, and it went out the window. I did have time. I can't use time as an excuse. kind of just forgot about doing it after about day 10, and so I took a lot of photos, but yeah, the whole sketching went out the window, which I wish I had kept it up. So, Kath, you have a heap of photos you want to paint from Antarctica. That's cool. Check out Zaria Lynn. Zaria Lynn. Let me just double check that. No, sorry, Zaria Foreman. Zaria Foreman. I'm just checking. Yeah, just type in Zaria, Zaria Foreman. Oh, here, I'll just put it in the chat. She is the most spectacular. She's one of the, I've in the membership, if you look under the Meet the Masters, I think I've got a little thing on Zaria. She does the most amazing pastel, huge pastel artworks of icebergs. They are spectacular, and it'll blow your mind when you see it. So just the fact, yeah, if you've got paint that might inspire you, because you've got paintings from Antarctica, and seeing her work might really inspire you to get stuck into it all. I mean, you're learning, of course. I know you're a beginner, but once you've mastered some of the pastel techniques, I think you'll really love to have a go at that. Okay, so all right, so yeah, of course, collecting inspiration, so sketches, travel journal, photography, of course. So and even just taking photos of the colors as well. Like, I always like to take a photo, try and get a composition when I'm taking a photo, but then I like to zoom right up and try and get some more photos of like the textures and the colors and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I've never tried to paint an iceberg. I'd like to. And collecting small souvenirs, so things like a leaf or a sticker tub, a ticket stub, or even a rock can help you, create. It might trigger those creative memories and stuff. I know this wasn't to create a painting from, but when we travelled through Europe with the kids, I gave them all a travel diary, and I said, I want you to write in there. So I think the kids, my son did one page, pretty much wrote, this is stupid, I don't know why mum's making me write this. That was his one and only entry. My daughter's, I think, lasted 2 days, and my husband actually was writing the whole way through, which was really cool. And I was writing through, and then I was collecting all the ticket stubs, taking lots of photos, just little things of our European vacation. And then when I got home, I created, you know how you can create a memory book online? So a bit like how Canva works now, but this was back a long time ago. And I took photos of everything. I even included my son's, I hate writing in this this diary entry. I put all the funny entries and all of that in there with the photos, with like photos of the ticket stubs and everything we did. And it's such a wonderful book to look back on. And it's just so funny just to see some of the diary comments as well. So, yeah, kids are very truthful about how they're feeling. So, but that was a really great memento. But you could do a similar thing with your creative ideas. So, I wanted to mention foraging. So this is what I was saying. My nose is running. I want to go back to Fraser Island and now do some foraging. So looking at the little details. So foraging is like collecting little bits of nature. So like for you, Viv, in your garden, you could do a whole series of your place. So your landscape, where you belong, like, you know, your happy place. It doesn't have to be your yard. It could be your favorite place. It could just be the park down the road. Just go for a walk and look down, like look low, look up high, like don't just look ahead, just look around and go there by yourself with your camera, maybe a sketchbook, a bag to collect things to bring back. Just find things that draw your eye. So don't think hard about it. Just find things that you like the shape of, or maybe you like the color of that, or you find that a really interesting thing. So whatever you find fascinating, I suppose. And maybe sometimes finding things you don't like can also tell you something about yourself. But I would stick with what you do like what's grabbing your attention. Also look at size variations. So don't just grab everything this one size. So find small, medium, and large, because you can come back and create something with those, like a composition. So also variations in texture, shape, and color as well can make an interesting painting. So I had a little look very quickly. I went through Dad's shells. He has some cool shells. Like, look at some of these. So some of these are quite amazing shapes. So, but they're not from here. So I could do a paint, like I could create something of my parents' house. They used to own a few acres of land, which would have been cool, but now they're just on a house block. But so I just literally, for 5 or 10 minutes, I walked around their yard. And you want like old things, like decaying things, litter. Like, this is an old shriveled up leaf, but I really like the shape of it. I don't know if you can see that very well. There was this little snail shell on the ground. Different shapes like these, could work nicely against something like a curled leaf like that. Even there's a broken pot, so a little bit of terracotta pot there. This is the end off a native pineapple, I think, but I thought the shapes were pretty cool. And then they had all these like dead flower things. I'm not very good with flowers. They had some that were alive. Okay, just little things like this. And when you just go through and collect it. Like, I like the way it's a dead vine, so it was all twisted. I thought that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, so that is foraging, finding all these things, and then when you get back and you lay it all out, and start to sort of color group it and figure out, you'll start to probably see a pattern of what you've collected, what you think is interesting. Like, it doesn't all have to be dead. It can be live, of course, but you don't want to go picking, protected flower species or anything. But, just different leaves. And then you can sit them down and muck around with a composition and just look at it'll help you figure out what you like as well. But that could be something you create of your space. Like, this could be called, Grandma's backyard, something like that. But it's also, I've found them here. A lot of it could be weeds, but it's telling me things like about where they live. It's helping me. I know I'm always drawn. I'm not a bright coloured person, as you can tell. I quite often wear, dark sort of colours or earth tones. I like a lot of earthy tones. So I knew straight away, if I'm going to be looking at stuff, I'm picking up the earth tones stuff. Like, I'm not picking up any bright things. But also foraging and creating compositions, that can be bits of old newspaper and a bit of old fabric you found somewhere. Like, it can be all different things. So it's something to think about when you are travelling around, to maybe start to collect things. I know as artists we probably all collect stuff. I already have a big container of feathers. I love collecting feathers, and shells as well. Gum nuts and funny shaped sticks, driftwood, all of that I love collecting. So I was talking about last week, remember we were talking about setting up your studio to be more personal. So I went out and bought some clear jars and I've started to set them up on my shelf, and one's got feathers, one's got shells, one's got all these bits of stick and stuff. And then, like, so once you start collecting all this, you can then start to think about creating just work on your own backyard like that. So it can be as simple as sketching and drawing leaves in a composition. Like, you can put them all together, you know, have some this way, some that way, you know, have a flower thrown in there, and create paintings that way. So you don't have to even leave your yard if you don't want to. Okay. Let me see. I'm just spider webs. We did that with our kids in the Kimberley. I still have them, and the kids love looking back. Yeah, that's cool. Seed pods. Yeah, seed pods are awesome. And that's the other thing with seed pods. You might grab one, and that could be one, but if you then pull it apart and have it open and have some of the seeds scattered around, that's also really cool. I know you did that beautiful painting recently of all those pods or whatever they were, and they look so good. Cheryl, you'll be walking along the beach, so I'll definitely collect a few pieces. Yeah, I love collecting on the beach. Just little bits of coral and just funny shaped things that grab your attention. Viv, you saw a lovely collage of small paintings of a pet dog, and it had the collar and little knickknacks connected to the dog. That's cool. Yeah, it was a beautiful set of memories in one frame. Yeah, well, that's true as well. Yeah, you can be really creative. I know Odette does that a lot with your framing as well, with different things. Like extending past onto the mat and just adding little things like that. Very cool. So also, what were we talking about? So ways of capturing your memories and your travel things. So, and of course, writing and voice notes. So you can jot down your thoughts using a voice memo. So you could record how the place feels to you, the smells, the sound. So you can speak into your phone, usually on a voice thing, or you can write it. But say when I went to Hanging Rock, there was definitely a feeling there. I was rushing, but Hanging Rock, it felt very spiritual, I suppose. You know, you just wanted to sort of place your hands on the rocks there. I feel like I always sort of get that feeling in places like that, just because of how old they are, and you can just the history there. So I could have recorded while I was standing there how I was feeling about it, because you sort of forget that, don't you? So when I was on Fraser Island trying to gather inspiration and ideas, we went to Central Station, which anyone who's been there, Fraser Island is the largest sand island, I think, in the world. So a lot of it is sand and beautiful beaches. But Central Station is right in the centre, and it's like a rainforest. It's pretty cool. And so you get all the sounds of a rainforest. And I took some recording on my phone of the sound. When we go back, I want to have a better sound set up, because I was holding my phone out the window trying to record it. And but the idea was, and also the wave sounds, of course, of the beach, because for my exhibition, I specifically booked, it's a room in the gallery, so it's not part of any other exhibition. You walk into the room, and I wanted that because I always had in the back of my head, I wanted people to feel like as they walk in, they're immersing themselves into Gari, Fraser Island. So I wanted to have music, like the sounds of the island playing as they come in. I would love to put sand all over the floor too, but that won't be allowed. But yeah, just thinking about ways I want to have people sort of really feel like they're part of it. So, all right. Here's a question. Oh, sea glass, Holly, yes. I never see sea glass. It's very rare. But I know some beaches seem to have heaps of it. Okay. Here's a question. Do you guys keep a travel sketchbook or take reference photos while you're out exploring? I'm sure a lot of you take reference photos. And where's one place you can think of that you would like to explore for creating an art piece in this way? Like going and just going there. Where's like one of your favourite places? Or like I said, it can be a garden. Vivian, you already answered this, saying your garden. Yeah, where you want to go and forage and find inspiration and create a painting from it. So some of my ideas while we're traveling are more landscapes and animal focused, but when I'm talking about like foraging for smaller things, these are more detailed little small paintings. I suppose you could turn them big, but not so much the whole landscape. I'm talking more about drawing or painting things that can bring some little memories to you, or just look nice as a composition, but they're from your garden or from a certain place. Also in this, again, always thinking of how to make money as an artist. So say if I was say at Hervey Bay as a tourist place, maybe they have a beautiful botanic gardens there, but also the beaches. I could maybe go and forage around there and get elements of the bay, certain plants that are there, and then create a series of paintings and make prints, and then go and ask the local information centre like Viv did, or the local galleries and it's Hervey Bay. It's that place, and people who travel, that's what they're looking for. If they love a place, they want to buy something that's going to remind them of it. So, a lot of artists will paint whales and that for Hervey Bay because that's what it's kind of known for. But this could be a different angle, more of the sort of flora and that of the area is something that might work on a tea towel or a greeting card or just a print or something. So Karen, doors and steeples. Oh, that's cool. I saw a paint, it come up on my Facebook, and it was beautiful. I think it was a watercolor. It might have been a sketch, and it was just the door jamb, like with the knob on the, like looking, the door was open, it was looking face on of where the lock bit comes and the door handle. That's all it was, but it was, really pretty the way they did it. It was gorgeous. And I forgot what it was called now, but whatever it was, I think there was a memory to it. And that was as simple as the door, but it was like grandma's place or something, I don't know. But straight away it was like, oh, okay, that means that particular door meant something to someone. So, all right, so turning your inspiration into artwork. So once you're back in your creative space, then you want to translate those memories into a finished piece. So I suppose first of all, you need to review your references, your images, your sketches, your little bits of what you've found. And I think by especially sort of starting to see them all in one space, like your photos, your sketches, or even having all of this stuff all laid out on a table, you can start to sort of piece together, okay, what really is jumping out at me. Like, funny enough, I kind of really like this little leaf with its really wonky shape, but I think that could go well with a stick or a flower or something, I don't know. But you'll start to get a bigger picture, and I think that's a good starting point. Just put everything out in front of you. If they're your photos, don't just look at one at a time, sort of put them all on the computer together to see them all as a whole, and then you might go, oh, I like the tree out of that one, I like the way that sheep is sitting in that one, I like this out of it, and you can start to piece it together. But also definitely try and focus on the feeling or the story behind it. Okay, so again, make sure you're keeping notes as you're doing this of your story, because I know myself, when I think about a painting or I started it, by the time you finish it, you've sometimes forgotten what the whole meaning and story was. So that's why, like, taking those notes when you're actually in the space is really important, because usually at the end, if you're displaying your art or entering into a competition or putting it in a gallery, sometimes they want an artist statement, which is you writing about why you painted that, what was the meaning behind it. Okay, so if you've got notes of your feelings and stuff right at the start, it's easy to go back and write something then. Viv, you have a friend who photographs doors and gets everyone to guess where it is. That's so cool. Di, reference photos, yes. I feel quite self-conscious setting up on my sketching in public. Yeah. Yeah, we will be practicing at the Bay of Fires. Yes, when we all get there. Keeping those fingers crossed. I'm actually a little bit concerned about where you are, Di. So, yes, I think there could be a bit of flooding happening down that way. But yeah, I know it is daunting. I wasn't sketching in public. I was either sketching in my, like, at a different caravan park. I'd find a tree or something and I'd sit and sketch that. But if there was nothing, then I'd look back through my photos I took of the day and sketch that. But yeah, it's a huge thing, to sit and sketch or paint and have people. I think once you get used to it, it gets easier. I know when I did it at the markets, when I first started, I was like, oh my God, people are going to look at me. But once I started talking to people and that, it was cool. It was fine. You just got to remember, most people, they're not there to criticize you. They're usually there going, wow, I can't believe, like, there's an artist sitting there drawing. And quite 9 times out of 10, they probably won't come up to you and won't even look at what you're doing. So, but yeah, it's a huge thing to do that. So, all right. So then, of course, I suppose choose your medium that will fit the mood you're trying to create. So, of course, like I was saying, soft pastels, beautiful for animals and sunsets and all of that, and icebergs, as we found out. You know, if you wanted something really dramatic, you could probably use charcoal maybe. I find graphite is very fine and detailed and soft, because it's sort of grey tones. I have a vision in my head of my Fraser Island. I'd love to do a really large graphite, which will take me forever. But all the details of the wreck, the Mahino wreck, I've got some photos. I was going to do like a triptych of the whole side of it. Oh, the wind's picking up. In graphite. So, but yeah, it would be a feat and a half to do, because it would take forever. But I don't know, graphite is brilliant for those fine details, and just think of the colour, like the soft greys. So, and then watercolour, of course, great for beautiful washy backgrounds and you know, landscapes, all that stuff. Even your jelly plate printing, I'm yet to give that a go, but I want to. So, yeah, Kath, drawing in public is so daunting. Anyway, so again, experiment with colours and textures. Use colours, of course, will evoke moods of a place and a memory. And then, you know, doing this is not just copying a reference photo. You're trying to bring your own perspective and your emotions and your imagination into it. So you can work off reference photos, but of course these are things that you've created totally from scratch and taken photos of, or like I said, you've taken elements of each of your photos, so it's totally your own ideas, your own thoughts and feelings. And I think you'll find when you do that, the story will come a lot easier, because I know a lot of times when we talk about story, and especially everyone who's in my membership and they're working on, you know, learning the techniques of different animals and stuff, like say we did an echidna, it was from a free reference photo of Pixabay, it's hard to come up with a story for that. There is always a story, like why you picked that photo, but in this case I picked the photo, so I suppose I would have a story more. But there's always like the love for the animal and that. But when you've created it totally from scratch, you've come up with that idea, then it's much easier to have that story. Yeah, it's not, because sometimes story people go, oh, that's really hard to come up with, but it wouldn't be if it's totally from your start idea. And of course you're going to have that emotional connection as well. So creating from your personal experience makes your art more meaningful, not just for you, but for those who see it. So some of the most powerful artworks come from the emotion and storytelling rather than the technical perfection. So you'll see, if you go to a gallery in that, you'll see there could be some absolutely perfect, realistic, spot-on paintings, but it'll be a different one that could really draw you in because it's sort of got more emotion to it, I suppose, or more feeling to it. Depends on the subject and what you're interested in as well, but so just keep that in mind as well. Like, you don't have to be the most perfect artist to be able to create emotion in a painting. So your personal view of the place or memory makes the artwork unique, so it doesn't have to look exactly like the reference either. So an art allows us to relive moments and share them with others in a visual way. So, all right, this is your final question. What's a place or memory you'd love to turn into art next? Oh, Andrea, you finally got enough connection to hear me. Sorry, it's been a bit noisy. Mum and Dad have a lot of hanging chimes as well. So when the wind blows, they go. So, yes, gel printing is so relaxing. I haven't done it yet, but I reckon it's going to be. I've ordered a jelly plate. So when it arrives, I'll be having some fun. All right. So yeah, so that question, what's a place or memory you'd love to turn into art next? Yeah, it's probably not one you might be able to answer straight away, but definitely think about it. Think about where your favourite place is, or what you think you'd like to create a memory with your art from. So just some takeaways. Travel and memories can be powerful sources of inspiration. Collecting references in different ways helps you relive and create from those experiences, and adding personal meaning makes art more powerful and unique. So think about you and what you love and even what you don't love, and try and bring some of that into your artwork. Okay, Nielsen Park in town along the river. Yeah, if that's a beautiful spot and you like to walk along there, next time, which, you know, these could be places we walk all the time, but next time, look at things. Like, look at the leaf litter on the ground or certain plants and trees around, and maybe just pick up some things that interest you. Alexandra, what is gel printing? It's called a jelly plate. So it's like a clear, just look up jelly plate. It's Gelli. I'll see if I can quickly find one. Hold on. Jelly printing. Hold on. Images, I'll go to there. It's like this clear, I don't even know. Someone with one could probably explain it a bit better than me. This is just a Google search that shows pictures. So it's like you put different things like leaves and I don't even know, pictures and stuff on it, and use ink. And it's like a little printing press, I suppose, but it's just a little clear, looks like jelly, essentially. And that's what you print on. But if you get caught in that world of jelly plate printing, you'll see it'll be a rabbit hole you'll go down into, especially on YouTube and that. So hi Odette, I think you're getting out. When did you get out? You were getting out yesterday. Good work, because Odette was on the Gold Coast, so I think heading to Melbourne is a good idea. Louisa, you'd love to go to Patagonia and see the south of Chile. Yeah, well, that's it. See, everyone has different places they'd love to go and see. And yeah, especially in overseas. I mean, I'd start at home because I'm not going overseas anytime soon, but I wished probably when I did my Scotland trip that I did collect stuff, but that's the only problem. I suppose I could have collected things and then taken photos, because remember, especially Australia, we have really strict customs, so you couldn't be grabbing things like this overseas and bringing them back, okay? But you could still grab and forage and take photos of it, and just, you know, take photos of all different angles and that. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Don't go bringing things back into the country. Kath, you taught kids and I found the children were so relaxed and loved collecting leaves, materials to create prints. Yep, they loved it. Yep. Thanks, Ray. I have to go. All the best with Tassie. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Hopefully I can come next year. Yes. Or August. There's still space in August for my last retreat for the year to Tasmania. So definitely, if you go to kerrydixonart.com for anyone who is interested in coming on an art retreat, we might even do some foraging actually while we're at the Bay of Fires. That'll be cool. Oh, here we go. Odette said jelly plates are on special at Spotlight for 30% off. Gee, I think I ordered. I'll have to check. I think I already ordered them. Maybe I didn't. I'll go and check out Spotlight if I didn't. It's a bit like lino printing but without the carving. Yep. It's the old lino printing. Easy to clean. Yeah, big rabbit hole. Alright, Fraser Island in New Zealand, plants with reflections and shadows. Also somewhere sunsets on the coast. Walk from Shelley Beach to the wall in Ballina. Yeah, you're in a beautiful place as well, Di. Yeah, reflections and shadows. There's a theme in itself. I love the shadows leaves make against, like I said, the old fence posts, and the way the shadows, like you don't even have to put the leaves in it, just the shadows are amazing. So all right, okay, so guys, I hope that has given you something to think about. Next time you're out and about, or next time you're lacking inspiration, maybe just go and have a look at what's around you. Even if you just pick up, you know, a leaf and something like this, and just sit down with your sketchbook and a graphite pencil and have a go at just sketching them. They even make beautiful little sketches. So, and it'll just help improve your drawing skills as well. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't have to be an elaborate painting or a whole series of paintings. It can just be as simple as just sketching from nature like that. So, all right, what do I got? Layering images. Yeah, definitely. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you. It's been an hour again, and I'm going to head back to the farm. And for anyone living around Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, and northern New South Wales as well, definitely stay safe. And for those Di, and if anyone else is watching that is coming to Tasmania on Saturday, then we'll keep in touch and keep everything crossed, and maybe try and come up with a backup plan if things turn bad and we can't get to the airport. So, but anyway, but yes, definitely stay safe, everyone. But don't go foraging in the middle of a cyclone. Wait till next week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you all. Oh no, I won't actually. For the next 2 weeks, my Tuesday chats are cancelled. I know, it's so sad, because I'll be in Tassie and I'll be teaching at this time. So unfortunately I won't be able to get on, because that would be a bit rude. So yeah, we're gonna have a 2-week break, but I will be back. It'll be around the 20 something of March. Okay, So have a good time. Try and stay creative, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.